What's up guys, the iPhone 14 series has been announced, and while the known Pro units aren't really bursting with the tech in them, the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max have us salivating to try out Apple's newest tech. The iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max come with new cameras, a new notch design and a new chipset. You can also contact emergency services via satellite if you find yourself off the grid but under light foliage or in a direct view of a satellite. This service will debut in the US and Canada only in November and will be free for the first 2 years. The iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max look a lot like their predecessors. Flat rectangles with soft corners, fully flat stainless steel frame sides and a triforce of camera lenses on the back. Some dimensions are different of course, as the camera module now houses a bigger camera sensor, so no, your old iPhone 13 Pro cases won't fit. The main visual change you will notice is the pill-shaped cutout at the top of the screen. It's smaller than the older notch, and this was enabled by the fact that the cameras inside are now 30% smaller. The proximity sensor has also moved under display to help. Apple of course couldn't help name the cutout. Dynamic Island is how it's called. Apple is playing with black pixels around the actual cutout to create some dynamic effects. Since it's an OLED display, when the pixels turn black, they seamlessly expand the area surrounding that cutout. The space around the cutouts changes to allow easy access to controls for ongoing background activities like maps or music or a timer. Third-party apps can take advantage of this area too. For example, you could get sports scores on there. The display itself, 6.1 inch on the Pro and 6.7 inch on the Pro Max, is now brighter, up to 2000 nits peak for HDR content, and has a new controller that supports refresh rates as low as 1 Hz. This means always-on display is finally available on an Apple product, exclusive to these Pro phones. The time, widgets and live activities will be visible at a glance on this always-on display. The main camera on the back has a quad-pixel sensor, which is a first for Apple but rather old in the Android world right now. The sensor has a 48 megapixel resolution, and by default the phone will shoot in 12 megapixels. The camera has an f1.78 aperture and 1.22 micrometers pixel size before binning and 2.44 with binning. You also get second-gen sensor shift stabilization, as well as full focus pixels. The high-res main sensor enables a new intermediary zoom-in step of 2x in the camera app by cropping from the middle, perfect for portrait mode shots. There is a new 12 megapixels ultra-wide camera in tow, with large 1.4 micrometers pixels, delivering sharper images with more detail and improving on macro shots too. Finally, the 3x telephoto camera is still there and has optical image stabilization. Now, for the first time in, well, ever, the Pro iPhones will differ from the known Pros in terms of what makes them tick. The new Apple A16 Bionic chip is exclusive to the iPhone 14 Pro and iPhone 14 Pro Max, while their cheaper siblings will stick to last year's A15 Bionic. So, what's new? Apple's new chip is built on the 4nm process, the latest and greatest development for silicon building, making chipsets more energy efficient. The GPU has gotten a major boost with a 50% more memory bandwidth, and we expect the iPhone 14 Pro to again be on the top of the performance food chain. As for storage tiers, the iPhone 14 Pro will start off with 128GB of storage at $1,000. The next tiers are 256, 512 and all the way up to 1TB. Pre-orders begin Friday, September 9th, with availability following on September 16th. The price in the US has stayed the same as last year. The iPhone 14 Pro starts at $1,000, while the iPhone 14 Pro Max starts at $1,100. Like the cheaper known Pro iPhone 14 models, these two remove the SIM tray for the US market, relying on eSIM only. What to do if, for example, you go to another country and want to insert a local SIM card? That is not clear. But for now, this is only for American iPhones. Guys, let me know your thoughts and impressions about the new iPhone series from Apple. Bye everyone!